The 1930s in Europe were the heyday of the Yiddish theater. Now, the Yiddish theater wasn't exactly known for being a champion of Torah values, and one day a yeshiva student came running back to the Briskerov, the rabbi of Brisk, to report one of the plays that they'd put on. He said, "Does the rabbi know about the new play that the Yiddish theater's put on? It's a disgrace. They've taken the Torah portion of Shoftim, where there's a scene where the Jewish army is about to go out to war, and one of the actors stands up, quoting the Torah, says, 'Who is the man who has built a new house and not inaugurated it? Let him go home and return to his house, lest he die in the war, and another man will inaugurate it.' So 10 people get up and walk off the stage. And then he says, 'And who's the man who's betrothed a woman and not yet married her? Let him go home, lest he die in the war and another man marry her.' So another 20 people get up and walk off the stage. And then he says, 'Whoever is afraid, let him go home so he won't scare everyone else.' So now, everyone else leaves the stage, except 2 actors who are playing the 2 Torah giants, the Vilna Gaon and the Shagas Aryeh. The Vilna Gaon says to the Shagas Aryeh, 'Kavod Harav, Your Honor, the Rabbi, please, you take the first shot.' The Shagas Aryeh says, 'No, I insist, you take the first shot.' The other says, 'No, I insist, you, after you. So they go back like this, backwards and forwards, about who's going to take the first shot, and the whole audience collapses in laughter, and the curtain rings down. It's terrible, shameful, a disgrace. Rabbi, you have to put a stop to this.' The Briskerov said, 'Well, what's wrong with that?' The student's jaw dropped. He gazed at the rabbi dumbfounded. The Briskerov said to him, 'There's nothing wrong with what they did. They just forgot the last scene.' 'What last scene?' 'The last scene is where the Vilna Gaon and the Shagas Aryeh win the war. On June the 5th, 1967, the Israel Defense Forces initiated Operation Focus, a coordinated air attack on Egypt. That morning, some 200 aircraft took off from Israel, flew west over the Mediterranean, and attacked Egypt from the north. They caught the Egyptians by surprise, bombed 18 different airfields, and eliminated approximately 90% of the Egyptian Air Force as it sat on the ground. The story is told of a general of the U.S. military academy at West Point, who was once asked why their curriculum includes studies of the many different wars throughout the world, but it doesn't include any study of the Six-Day War. The general explained, "At West Point, we're concerned with studying military strategy and tactics, not miracles." Major General Asa Weitzman, the then IDF Director of Operations and subsequently President of the State of Israel, was once asked how it was that after the first and the second wave of the Israeli bombings, that the Egyptians didn't radio ahead to the other air bases to warn them. Mr. Weitzman was silent for a moment, and then, lifting his hand to the heavens, he quoted from the Torah, "Etzba Elokimhu." It was the finger of God. The strength of the Jewish people is not in our numbers nor in our military might. The Torah calls us the smallest of the nations. Our protection comes only from God, the master of wars.